Hello everyone, welcome to the Testing Trainer YouTube channel. In this session, we are going to discuss defects in software testing. This is one of the most important topic in the overall tutorial. So please listen carefully. Let's get into the topic. What is bug, defect, issue? Are these are different words? No. So if you heard the word before bug or defect or issue, these are all same word. What does it mean? Let's see the definition. A defect refers to any deviation or discrepancy between the expected behavior of the system and actual behavior. Okay. Now this is a general definition. Okay. Now I will give a real-time example. Always example gives us a good picture. Okay. Now this is a system. Okay. Or this is a take a coffee machine. Okay. You are expecting a coffee, right? So your coffee machine. Okay. Now you are giving, you're just giving an input. What is input here? You're saying that I want to make a coffee. You're going to a coffee machine, select what type of coffee you want, long black or short black or anything, selecting it, and then you are expecting a coffee, right? Let's see. There is a scenario. We gave an input for long black coffee, and the output what we have got as same. So the output is also same. Okay. So we also got a long black coffee here. Now this is it. Now tell me what is the expected and actual behavior. This is expected behavior. Okay. This is an expected behavior because the inputs which we are giving and what we expecting is an input. What we expecting is expected behavior. Now we are giving an input as long black coffee and we are expecting long black coffee. So now expected behavior and actually what has happened are same. So there is no deviation. Okay. Now same scenario. In the same coffee machine. Okay. In the same coffee machine. I'm just entering. Okay. I'm just selecting in the coffee machine. I'm just selecting long black coffee. But what I've got is tea. Like I don't know whether that's a possible scenario or maybe I will just put it in this way. Okay. What I'm getting is a hot water. Okay. So in a coffee machine, I have selected long black coffee in first scenario and I got long black coffee. So here the testing is fast. Now what happened after 2 days? I'm testing the same coffee machine. I'm selecting long black coffee, but actually what I received is a hot water. So what happens? People get pissed off. So, oh, I was expecting for coffee and you have provided hot water, right? Failed. Now, this is called having. So now the expected behavior, what we are expecting is a coffee, but what we are receiving is a hot water. Now, if you take the definition, defect refer to the discrepancy between the expected behavior of the software and actual behavior. Okay. Now you would have now by this time after the example you know what that definition exactly means, right? So that's it, guys. So when you are testing something, you're giving an input and you are expecting an output. But if you did not give this if you did not get that expected output, then that means there is an issue. Okay, that means there is a problem. We need to fix the problem, right? That is the reason we are doing the testing. The ultimate aim of the testing is the developers developed a product or a system. Now we need to make sure that is working as expected. Okay, if that in this scenario a person developed a coffee machine and we are testing the coffee machine, right? Perfect. Now you know what is defect or issue or What is the other one? Bug. Okay, the word bug came because of there is a history behind it. Okay, that's why in testing they named this as a bug. But let's don't get into it. But bug is also a defect. I mean, bug, issue, defect, all are same. These three word terminologies are used in the all the software companies. Okay, now defects, also known as bugs, issues, anomalies, represents instances where the software does not meet specified requirement, design, and user expectation. Now, did you just see this word specified requirements and design? Okay, let's take this word because we have already seen about user expectations, specified requirements and design. Now, so far we have seen an example of coffee machine. Okay, let's take another example. Okay, real time example. Okay, a simple one. Ta-ta-ta, ta-ta-ta. Okay, this is an username and this is a password. Okay, now see, I quickly designed a login page. Okay, that's it. Now you enter a valid username and valid password. So you click in, you should be able to log in. Okay, now let's take the requirement. This is the requirement. Okay, requirement says on, okay, the requirement will be like this. Upon entering valid username and password, user should be able to log in. Okay, upon entering the valid username and password, you should be logged in. This is requirement it says. Requirement is saying this. Now, developer used this requirement to build this one login screen. Okay, developer used this requirement to build this login page. Now he built it. Now after the system this one is built, it will be deployed into test environment. Okay, what you will be doing is ideally you'll be selecting this and you'll be typing the environment name with an URL. Okay, blah 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 slash blah 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 slash blah 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 .com something. When you type it, this login page will be launched. Now what you are doing is, now you are going to enter a valid username, valid password and clicking login. What's happening? It's not logging in. It's saying the same page. Okay. Now is this an what happened now? This is an issue. This is a problem. This is a bug. This is a defect. Okay. That's it. So now, so for simplicity, I've told a very simple scenario, but in real time, it will be very some we will be getting some complex scenario as well. Now I will give you for defect and issues. As this is a very important topic, I'll be giving you another example. Okay, so let's take a boundary value analysis. The username. So okay, so take a registration page. Okay, so your there is a page called registration and the page will stay in the same page. So the page will be asking you to type the username, password, similar kind of example, right? But it will the registration page while you try to register the it will accept only the username of 8 characters. Okay. Now if you enter 9 or 10 characters, it should throw an error saying you should only be able to enter 8 characters. Please select a username with 8 characters. But even upon entering 10 or 12 characters, if the system is allowing, then that is bug. Okay, that is also another example for a defect. Okay, right. So now this is the defect. Take Google. Okay, now I'm typing okay, e-commerce website. Google is giving something. What happens if Google did not give any results? Right, it never happened, but then like if it didn't give any results, then that is also a defect. Okay, that's a real-time example. Correct. I know like by now you know what is defect, right? Now let's see there are lots of other key details in there. Okay, let's see how does a defect look like. Okay, now, for the scenario which I have told you, okay, with the scenario, this is scenario. I mean, this is a requirement. Okay, the requirement is clearly saying upon entering username and password, valid one, the user should not be able to log in. But I have entered the username, I have entered the password, but I am unable to log in. So what should I do? You should raise a defect. Okay, raise a defect. We know this is a defect, but what is rising a defect? You should be able to, like, you should go to a place and enter the details of the issue. Okay, you are saying somewhere that, hey, I typed the username and I typed the password and I clicked login, but login is not working. You have to type in a place and show it to a developer. Okay, now developer will again try to replicate it and find out the issue. Okay, that's where the process works in IT industry. Now let's see how defect looks like. So how will you enter? So now see, it's a testing tools are also in evolution. Okay, initially it was started with some Excel sheet, and then it slowly started into a big tools like quality center, and then there are tools like clear quest quality center, and now we are using Vira, and also for running the test we are using Defect. So lots of things happening. But think about it, you have a tool, and the tool will give you an option, give all this option. Okay, defect summary, steps to replicate, expected result, all those parameters will be given in the tool. Take an example of Jira. Jira is one of the famous tool for agile development. So in Jira, all this column will be there. Now entering this column, it's what we have to do. Okay, it's similar to it will give a defect summary. So you should give a summary saying login button is not responsive and unable to log in. What happened? We tried to click login button, we entered the values, blah 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 blah, we entered the password, blah blah blah, and then we tried to click it, nothing happened. So what we are saying, login button is not responsive and unable to log in. Defect summary is nothing but giving an overall summary of the defect. Okay, steps to replicate, this is one of the important point. Like, you have to inform to all the people that what are the steps to replicate this issue. Okay, so go to login page, enter valid username and password, click login button. In this scenario it is very simple, just 3 steps, but for a complicated scenario it will be like 7, 8, 10, 12 steps. You have to, and also you have to put all the details. Okay, and so this is one thing. Now if there is any preconditions, you can put it under the precondition, or you can put it in the steps to replicate as well. Now expected result. Expected result is what we are expecting. Login should be successful. Always this expected result should come from the requirement, because requirement is saying that upon entering valid username and password you should be able to log in. Correct? So this is the expectation. This is a test basis. Okay. Now you have to see whether so we are saying that login should be successful. We can put another point here saying, okay, as per the requirement 1.1.1 we should be able to log in. Okay. An actual result. Actual result, what happened? Login was failed and button was not responsive. That was the actual result. You need to log the actual result. Now you need to let's leave this for now and come to environment. So environment, I said, as I said earlier, so if you go to somewhere and you just, as I said, like if you are working in a test environment, then it will look like test 9999 and then some URL and then .com, like that it will be. Okay, so if you are entering a dev environment, it will be dev blah blah blah, something like that. Okay, something like that. So that is environment. So you need to inform the developer what environment you face this issue. Now screenshots, this is also very important. So you should better provide a screenshot for the defect, so that the developer get a good idea of what has happened. Also, if it's possible to take a video, that is also a very good thing. Okay, give as much as details as possible in the defect. Okay, now let's come to the most important point, severity and priority. Priority is depends upon the business. Okay, for example, in general, how this is sets into the priority level. Sometimes it will be high priority, sometimes it will be low priority. Okay, now priority, as I said, priority depends upon the business people call. Okay, whether it should be high priority, low priority, but severity is our call, guest's call. You have to feel, see, both severity and priority you should also know. Okay, you should have an idea whether this defect is high severity or low severity. Now I will give an example of what is a critical defect and what is a minor defect. So severities ranges from critical, major, minor. Okay, so these are three terms will be there: critical, major, and minor. And priority it will be like a high, medium, low. Now, if you take severity, what is a critical defect? Take Google for example. If you type a value e-commerce website, it is not giving any response. E-commerce website, it is not giving any response. That's a very critical defect, right? It will give it. In our case, if you even take our case, if you where is that? If you type the username and password, then if login it is not working, so that is critical defect. Critical defect means like you cannot able to do anything. So the login, complete login functionality itself is not working. So that's where we are saying it's critical defect. Okay. Now, what will be the major defect and minor defect? Major defect. Okay. For example, if I'll give an example of a minor defect first. See, there is an it says that login page. Now, if there is any if a letter is missing, instead of username, if it is given as usernames, see like that, if it is given like this, then these are all minor one. We are saying minor because it just affect the UI. On seeing only it is affecting it, but actually you are able to log in. If you are able to log in, but if this is the only problem, then that we will be considering that as a minor, low level. Okay, that's a minor defect. And sometimes what will be the major defect, not a critical one but major defect. If I'm typing e-commerce website, it is giving some e-commerce website, but then if it is not giving it is also giving the social media websites. Okay, that means it is mismatching. Actually searching is working, so it's not a critical defect, but searching is not correctly giving the result, so you can categorize that as a major defect. Okay, done. Now critical, major, minor we have seen. Priority, high priority, low priority, all depends upon the business, but mostly if a tester thinks like high priority, for example, even in this, if you think like e-commerce website typing, but if you think like some other results is also coming, and if you think it's a major defect, then you can always put a priority like this, but then business will finally find it out whether this should be high priority or low priority. Okay, and what is a low priority defect? Okay, so low priority defect, if low priority is also similar to the low severity defect, if it is very for example, if the just as n is, and if business is assessing about this defect, they're saying like okay, it's a low priority, then we can because it is not affecting the user to log in. If user is able to log in, and if only this is the problem, then they can categorize this as a low priority defect. Okay, so these are all the terminologies for the defect. I hope this is neat and clear. Now let's see bug life cycle. Okay, so bug life cycle, I'll probably give an example. Okay, now this is the, we know now we are in a situation, this is a requirement, we got and we got the code in the environment, we tested and we found the issue. Okay, now you raise the issue. Okay, you raise that issue, and it went to the business people, everyone, they assessed and they're saying it's a high priority, we need to fix it. Okay, now what happened? Like how software development have a life cycle, and like how software testing have a life cycle, similarly defect is also having a life cycle. So what is life cycle? Where it is born and where it is end. So that's a life cycle, right? Now, so now I'll just show you how that life cycle looks like. When you create a defect, okay, when you create a defect, see this, the most important, I mean, like I just also wanted to note it down. Please note it down, guys, that it differs from a company to company. Okay, and tool depends on tool to tool. Some tool will be having a set of life cycle, sometimes some tools will be having a set of life cycle. So I am giving a generic example now. Okay, so whenever you open a defect, okay, you create a defect, the defect will be in a status of open. Okay. That means a defect is open. Now it can go to next, they will triage. So the people will be triaging the defect. As soon as they triage a defect, it will go to assigned. Okay, it will go to the assigned state. So it will be assigned to a person. Okay, as soon as it is assigned, or we can say, instead of we can say as assigned, we can say as in progress. In progress. That means dev in progress. Developer is working on it. Okay. Now, after I'm saying about positive life, so after it is in progress, now next it will go to think about it. I raised a defect, and business people assess the triage. Triage is done. Okay, triage is done. After the triage is done, it will go to developer. Developer will be working on the defect to fix the defect. So in that stage, it will be in progress. Now after developer fix the defect, after fix the defect, it will go to the status of fixed. Okay, and then as soon as it is fixed, it will go to status of retest. Okay, retest. So now up to this, see, up to this area, just raise the defect and he go and sit and do other work. Okay, now it goes to the developer queue. Developer will pick up the defect after triage and fix the defect. Now again it will come for retest. Now two things happen in the retest. Positively, if it is successful, okay, if it is, you are retesting the defect. How will you retest the defect? You go to it. Hold on, I'll open this. Okay, you go to the login page, you click, you enter the valid username and valid password, click login, and login is successful. That means the developer is actually fixed the defect. That is called fixed. Okay, okay. As soon as it is fixed, so when the developer fixed the defect, you retest it, and if it is working, and if you are happy with the defect, you can attach the evidence and you can move the defect to closed. That's it, done and dusted. If it is not successful, again you are entering. So when it is fixed, the developer is saying, hey, I fixed that issue, just have a look, and he will be assigning back to us. So now we will be retesting the defect. You will be going to the login page, entering valid username, valid password, and clicking login. It is failed. That means you assign it back to the developer. Then it will go to the again another stage of retest, reopen. Okay, reopen is again similar to open. Okay, these both are similar to reopen. Now again, from now it will go from this stage to arrow mark should be important, I think. Yes, this stage to this stage. Okay, this stage to this stage. Now arrow is important here. Okay, this is the bug life cycle. Now as soon as it goes here, again developer will be working on it, fixing it, checking if it is working. He will retest it. If it's all working, it will be closed. Again if it is not, again he will we will need to reopen it, again go back to in progress. Okay, so this is the life cycle. Now sometimes, okay, this is a positive. It's a positive cycle. You raise a defect. If it will be triage will be done, it will be assigned to the developer. He will work on it. He will fix it. As soon as it is fixed, it will be assigned to you for retest. When you retest it, if it's all working well, you'll be closing the defect. That's it. It's a positive life cycle. Sometimes developer didn't fix it properly. Again it goes to reopen stage, and developer need to refix it again. Then we need to retest it again and close it. Done. Now sometimes after triage is done, okay, there will be a checkpoint here. If they feel like the defect is invalid, sometimes there's a possibility that a tester can raise an invalid defect. If that is the case, then it will directly move to not required. Okay, it's not required and it's invalid. You have to mark a status as why it is not required, and we do not required. This is an one possible scenario. Tester didn't raise the defect properly. Most importantly, please raise the defect. Analyze after doing proper analysis, raise the defect. Okay, that's one case. Then there is another case. It is a proper defect, but then team feels like it has to be fixed later in stage. Then the defect will be marked as deferred. Okay, that means it will be deferred to a future releases. Okay, this can also happen. This can also happen. So these are the other possibilities. So this is all about bug lifecycle or defect lifecycle. It starts from somewhere and end from somewhere. It starts from open and it usually it will be closed. Okay, this is the starting and end cycle. Now coming back to the overall summary. Okay, now what is a bug or defect or issue? So you are expecting something, but actually it starts not happening. Okay, but how are you expecting something? For example, if you are expecting a coffee machine gives a coffee, that's correct. If you have to expect a coffee machine to give a coffee, but if it is giving in hot water, then that is a issue, right? That's very layman term example. Software time example, you are entering login valid user ID and valid password. You should be able to log in, but it is you are not able to log in. That is called a defect or issue. So usually whenever there is an issue happen, we have to raise the defect, okay, in a tool or anywhere, and you need to enter all the parameters correctly, and then a developer will be working on the defect and he will fix it. How it will go through? It will go through a cycle. Okay, it will go to open, in progress. Whenever developer is open, create whenever you create a defect, it will be open, and then triage will be done. If it's a valid defect, if team wants to fix it, it goes to the developer to fix it. So he will fix the defect, it will be fixed. After that, it will come back to you tester to retest it, and you can close it. Other scenarios, if it is not fixed properly, it will go to the same cycle again. Now if the defect is invalid, then they can mark as not prepared and close it. If the defect is, if they want to, if valid defect, they want to fix it, but they don't want to fix it now, they want to defer to a future releases, then it will go to defer. That's it, guys. Okay, very important topic. So if you have any other questions, put it in the comments. I will just reply back to you. Thank you.